Let me just say this as a preface. I don't hate Reload. Quite the opposite, in fact. I really love Reload. I think it's honestly one of the best game modes that they've ever added. So I don't want you guys to think that this is a video of me bashing Reload because I do love the mode. This is going to be more of a video explaining kind of the negative effects of Reload rather than what's wrong with the actual game mode itself. Because honestly, there isn't a lot wrong with the game mode. But before we get into it, just want to say, be sure to like this video, subscribe, use code Brivy. Anyways, love you. Enjoy the video. So Reload mode came into the game in late Chapter 5 as kind of an expansion of the metaverse, and it was really cool. To start off with, Reload was kind of seen as a gateway to the OG map because originally it was just the OG map that it had. This was before the desert map was added. So this was kind of a, oh, whoa, we get to go back to the OG map in this brand new mode, but now of course we have the OG game mode, so Reload kind of exists as its own thing. And because they added the desert map, it's no longer just, you know, OG Fortnite. So Reload's a really cool idea. You drop in the game, you are able to respawn if you die, if your teammates stay alive. At first it was just a team game mode. Eventually they added solos either this season or last season, I can't remember. And you get 2 respawns before obviously you're out for good. And then of course reboots end later on into the game. Really awesome idea, super action-packed, super fun, but because it's so action-packed, that therein lies the problem. So in shorter terms, Reload is too good of a mode. So I think a lot of the problem that I have with the game right now is that a lot of it feels very slow. I think Reload holds a lot of responsibility for that. So Reload is constant action. You know, the chest rates are 100%. There's supply drops constantly coming in, so you're constantly looting. Honestly, there's not really any time where you don't see people fighting or are fighting, unless like you're completely uncontested at your POI or something. So it's non-stop action. And I don't know about you guys, but my mind is fried from the simple fact that I constantly have fights in my face when I'm playing Reload. And I think because of that, it makes Chapter 6 and it makes OG and it makes Ballistic feel really slow. Now that's not necessarily Reload's fault because I mean the game mode exists for a reason. I think it's a fantastic mode. I think it's great to play with friends. I said in one of my videos it's a very good safety net. Like you're not gonna decline to play Reload most of the time. I don't think I've ever said no, I don't want to play Reload. Like if someone offers up to play Reload, you're gonna play it. But it has made Chapter 6 and OG very slow just because the maps are so much bigger. There are less like people as far as like density goes. There's so much less action. There's so much less loot. It's just overall a slower experience. And I think Reload has really made my attention span shrink. And it's made playing the regular Chapter 6 mode and OG kind of hard. Now that might be my fault. I mean, maybe that's just my brain rotting because it's constantly rotting. But I think the game mode Reload has a lot to do with it. Reload also creates some very bad habits. So because you respawn in Reload, you can play very recklessly and you can play very aggressive without really any repercussions because, I mean, you respawn anyway. I mean, obviously you're going to lose your loot, but you can always drop in and get it back, or you can go somewhere else and loot because there's a lot of chests and supply drops that are constantly there. So I think that can create some bad habits. I think I've gotten off pretty easy just because I don't play Reload a ton, especially anymore. But I know some of my friends, they're like, they'll push somebody with 20 health when they have full heals and they're just full keying. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, Reload has ruined my brain, I'm sorry. And I mean, I can see that. I mean, if you play the mode long enough, it probably does create some bad habits for regular games. Like pushing someone on low health when you have heals because you think you're going to respawn. Not even like consciously, maybe just subconsciously. It just becomes a habit. And like I said, it's not really a problem for me just because I don't play Reload a ton anymore. I don't really play the game at all a lot anymore, but I could definitely see how that would be an issue. Also, Reload is a little bit too easy. I'm just going to say it. Now, I don't want you guys to think that I'm some egotistical, you know, pro player. I'm not. I'm not that good at the game. I'm okay, but I'm not great, but I'm Unreal ranked in Reload, and it's really not that hard to get there. For some reason, it's really easy to rank up in Reload, probably just because you can get a lot more kills, and you can get a lot better placement easier, so it's really easy to rank up. And because of that, Unreal lobbies, even though it's the highest rank, they're still not that tough. Like, you run into a lobby once in a while in Unreal that's like pretty sweaty, but other than that, they're really not that difficult. If you are decently competent at the game, even when you're playing solo, especially if you're playing duos and squads, if you have a full team of like good competent players, you're probably going to win almost every game. So it's a little too easy in that sense, because I mean you can't, there's really no way to get harder than Unreal unless you play in like a tournament or something, which they've actually implemented, so that's pretty cool. I might have to try that and see how sweaty it really is. Now, is that really a problem? Not really. I mean, I think Reload is a good way to kind of make yourself feel better. I think it's always been that way, even when it wasn't super easy, even when it was really sweaty. It was still a good way to kind of debrief and take a look at your skill and be like, okay, I'm not that bad. So I don't really think that's a problem. I just think it can be dull at times. It's just hard to kind of recognize it because we all like winning. So do I think Reload is a bad mode? No, not at all. I think it's one of the best that they've ever added to the game. Still, I stand on that. I love Reload so much. I definitely think they could add some more stuff, but I mean, they're constantly changing the loot pool, so I mean, it stays really fresh. Maybe they could add another map or two, maybe some new movement items or something, but I mean, other than that, it's a pretty perfect mode. I just think playing it in like I said, in short terms, the mode is just too good that it makes all the other modes not as fun to play. And I mean, who's to say it's Reload's fault? I mean, maybe it's the other game mode's fault for not adjusting and becoming more interesting. And maybe it is Reload's fault. Maybe Reload is shortening our attention span so that way it's harder to play regular BR. Or maybe it's nobody's fault at all, which is what I actually think is the truth. I mean, I think they just put a good game mode in the game, and so it's hard to play anything else besides it now. Which honestly, I mean, whoever developed Reload, you did a great job. You did exactly what you needed to, and more. So yeah, that's kind of my problem with Reload and just the game overall. I think Reload really has caused me to burn out of the actual Chapter 6 and OG. It's really strange, but it's okay. I mean, I still have fun on the game. I still play it. It's just a little bit harder to play. Other than that, that's going to be the video. Just kind of wanted to make this video. I thought it would be cool to talk about. So if you like this video, obviously drop a like down below, subscribe, and use code BRIV in the item shop. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Love you.